We have officially made it to Pudu Market in the heart of Kuala Lumpur. Very, very busy place. You will not find tourists down here. You will only find locals, fresh foods, chickens, veggies, and everything else you could possibly imagine or want to find. 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, they're preparing, and then it shuts down at about 2 p.m. And it is busy. Vegetables, chicken, fish, more fish. But probably some of the best deals you can find when it comes to food around here. A lot of fish, a lot of fish. I've been told that a lot of the locals actually come here and they sell their food at their restaurants. If you come here at about 3 p.m., 4 p.m., you'll just see a deserted, empty area. Pasar Pudu. Let's go see what's in here. You guys can't see all the different smells, but there's a lot of smells in here. And a lot of meat, apparently. Oh, the smell is something else in here. There's a lot of live chickens for sale. It smells like meat mixed with cilantro. Ooh, watermelon. It is always very, very fascinating to see the stark contrast between morning and evening. In many countries, the morning markets get started at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. When you go to places that are a bit more Western, we get started later in the evening. This is also a very traditional setup for a side market to the main market. Anytime I'm filming, the reactions are always mixed. And in some places, it's a bit more difficult to film. I found this to be the norm, getting stuck in the median. In some areas, there's a bridge to cross over, just not in this area. There's always a different reaction to me filming. Sometimes it's appreciated, sometimes it's not a big deal, sometimes it's very much frowned upon. In this particular area of Kuala Lumpur, I've received a lot of crazy looks, more crazy looks than usual. Tourists probably don't come down here very often. In fact, I know tourists don't come down here very often. It feels like they're sacred local space sometimes. And that's kind of the vibe that I got today. We're gonna walk elsewhere, go explore some different areas. There's a lot of things that you guys don't see on camera, but it doesn't mean those things aren't happening. And today was one of those days. Just walking down the sidewalk here, and this exposed wire right there, not sure if you guys can see that, but that's exactly why I'm so cautious when it's raining. All it takes is just a little bit of electricity running through that wire, and that wire going into some little puddle, and you stepping in that puddle, and that's all she wrote. Not sure which way I should go. Let's go under these bridges and see what's on the other side. It's very important not to judge Kuala Lumpur based on a single video. I go to the local markets, I go to a lot of the local areas. Kuala Lumpur also has some of the most luxurious, fancy areas you can imagine. They have certain areas that closely resemble some of the nicest areas of New York City. They have Louis Vuitton here, Christian Dior, and all those other fashion brands, the big lights, the big billboards. It's all here. They also have the local markets, which you guys are already aware of. It appears I'm going to have to turn, or I will be on a main interstate up here. Sometimes what happens is you find yourself in a big city overseas, and it feels like you're just walking and you're missing all of the nooks and crannies that has a sense of community. That's kind of what it feels like right now. I'm walking, but I'm struggling to find those nooks and crannies, and I know they exist here. I'm positive about that. A little food stall. Very busy down here. Very, very busy. I think it's so cool how in Malaysia, people park under the bridges and they don't feel unsafe. You can't park under bridges in some places where I go. If you park under the bridge or you take a nap under the bridge, it may be your last parking spot or your last nap. I think it's so cool here. It feels safe. Everywhere feels safe. It's a little difficult to see, but over there, those tall buildings, one says Pavilion, That's where some of the more fancy, luxurious areas are in Kuala Lumpur. And when I say fancy, I mean like New York City Times Square fancy. Smells delicious. It appears I have found another bus stop area. The public transportation is absolutely phenomenal in Kuala Lumpur. The MRT subway system, incredible, timely, efficient, convenient. They also have Grab, which is the equivalent of Uber, and probably some other things I'm missing. The problem is there's an interstate over there, I think, and I'm trying to get to the other side of it. Look at these luggages down here. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this stuff was all stolen at one point. Interesting. It's very convenient how in many areas of Kuala Lumpur you have these bridges that go over the road. Like here. More cities could adopt this feature. Do you speak English? Little? No problem. I was gonna ask if I can walk to the big buildings back there. Came down the stairs and there's not really anywhere to get around this thing. When I took off this morning, I didn't have the best plan. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And today was one of those days where I was gonna just experience as much as possible. And now here I am, practically walking on the interstate. All this traffic. This traffic is a great example of why the MRT is such an amazing system here. You get to skip all this traffic. Once again, we find a bridge. Look at the person down there sleeping under the stairs. It breaks my heart. That's somebody's son. That person has a father, a mother, probably sisters and brothers. I'm gonna sit down and take a break and drink because I am absolutely exhausted. A lot of people see the pros to traveling. They see the romanticization, is that the word? Listen, I don't even know if that's a word, but traveling a lot of times is overly romanticized. The grind that it takes. You have to worry about accommodation, insurance, travel insurance, medical insurance, visas, permits, work. You have to worry about legalities. There's so much stuff that you have to worry about that people don't realize. I'm always quick to say it's overly romanticized. Everywhere you go, you have to reset up your life again. At the end of the day, you don't call your buddy and say, hey, let's hang out. There's no hanging out with your buddies at the end of the day, most likely. Sure, you may hang out with some temporary buddies, but your lifelong friends, they're not gonna be there. There's a lot of things you just don't think about. I can officially say this day has not turned out how I expected. The concrete jungle has sucked the energy out of me. I think I'm gonna head back home. So guys, as always, remember, you are too blessed to be stressed and you are blessed by the best. Take care of yourselves. Much love to all of you guys. I am out. Stay blessed.